смотри, целую жизнь.
She married 3 times, each time to a different Olympic champion. It all began with pure youthful love, tragedy, and the rollercoaster ride of new relationships. This is about the personal dramas of the legendary Ekaterina Gordeeva. The Muscovite took up figure skating to prepare for the entrance exams to the choreographic school. Her father danced in Igor Moiseyev's company and dreamed of his daughter continuing the family tradition. At 12, she teamed up with Sergey Grinkov, who was 4 years her senior. He was a handsome man and not without female attention. Young Katya, having fallen in love with her partner, watched his affairs with jealousy. And at 16, she confessed her love to him. Marina Zhueva choreographed the most interesting and memorable programs for the Gordeeva-Grinkov pair. When she realized that Katya and Sergey were falling in love, she suggested Romeo and Juliet. Gordeeva admitted that this allowed her and Sergey to see each other in a new light. At the 1988 Olympics in Calgary, they performed their free skate to Mendelssohn's March, and 3 years later they married. A year later, in the United States, where they went to perform professional shows, their daughter Dasha was born. In 1994, they became 2-time Olympic champions in Lillehammer. I remember this Olympics much more than the first, Gordeeva admitted during her visit to Artur Dmitriev's show in St. Petersburg in 2003. I was still just a kid in Calgary, and the only thing I remember there was the incredible bonuses, by Soviet standards, that I was given immediately after my victory. I bought myself diamond earrings and got my first perm. I also remember the flight back to Moscow. It was February 29th, and right in the air, our entire Olympic delegation was celebrating skier Reza Smetnina's birthday. The only 2 people on the plane who were sober were me and the pilot. The Russian pairs competing for gold were the winners of the previous 2 Olympics, Gordeeva Grinkov and Natalia Mishkutinok Artur Dmitriev. It's believed that Gordeeva and Grinkov became 2-time Olympic champions due to their higher standing with the judges and the support of Russian sports leaders. It's hard for me to judge, Ekaterina asserted. We skated our programs in Lillehammer the way we were prepared at that time. Mishkutinok and Dmitriev's performances were simply not seen. The on-ice duel didn't affect our relationship at all. Artur and I were friends then, and we remain friends now. Katya's peaceful family life ended at 24, when she lost her husband and partner. During a training session in the United States, Sergey suffered a massive heart attack, and despite medical assistance, he could not be saved. Grinkov was buried in Moscow at the Vagankovskoye Cemetery. Gordeeva was left a widow with a small daughter in her arms. A few months later, Ekaterina found the strength to take to the ice in front of an audience. She dedicated the number to her late husband. The audience couldn't hold back their tears. In 1996, Gordeeva's book, My Sergey, was published in the United States. It was a true confession, and 7 years later, Ekaterina said, "Perhaps I won't share the details of my life with the public now. Back then, my agents convinced me that I absolutely had to write such a book. As I worked, I realized I needed to speak out myself, even if it was to a journalist who was helping me with my work." The producers of the American shows, with whom Gordeeva had signed a contract with Grinkov, actively exploited the image of a grieving widow. This didn't bring Gordeeva much joy. After all, she was forced to perform solo numbers, although she had always considered pair skating her calling. However, she was occasionally allowed to recall the discipline in which she became a 2-time Olympic champion. Gordeeva's partner was Alexei Tikhonov, with whom she trained at XSKA Moscow. On the set of Beauty and the Beast, she paired up with Olympic singles champion Viktor Petrenko. It was wonderful, but it was hardly pair skating. Gordeeva joked, "Off the ice, Katya lived the life a young beautiful woman should. She worked, raised her daughter, and fell in love." In 2001, she married 1998 Nagano champion Ilya Kulik. They performed together in overseas shows. There wasn't a formal wedding, they simply registered their marriage between tours at the Russian consulate in San Francisco. After their daughter, Liza, was born, the family moved to California, and Ilya eagerly trained with Daria Gordeeva Grinkova. However, she did become a figure skater. She graduated from university and specializes in design and merchandising. Elizaveta Kulik also showed great promise. For a time, she even trained in Moscow with Inna Goncharenko. However, her athletic career didn't work out either. Elizaveta now coaches young skaters overseas. 2 years ago, she gave a joint interview with her mother and bitterly noted that the competitive spirit and desire to improve are much lower in Canada than in Russia. In 2016, Ilya and Ekaterina announced their divorce. Gordeeva married the controversial Salt Lake City Olympic champion, Canadian David Pelletier, and moved in with him. At the 2002 Olympics, Pelletier and his partner and then wife, Jamie Sale, literally begged the Iok and Isu for a second set of gold medals after the first was deservedly awarded to Elena Berezhnaya and Anton Sakaralids. The Sale-Pelletier duo broke up after Jamie, while participating in a show where professional figure skaters were partnered with NHL hockey players, fell in love with Craig Simpson, her partner in the Canadian Ice Age adaptation. Interestingly, Pelletier coached them. David's long suffering was short-lived. However, he kept his affair with Gordeeva under wraps, and it only became public knowledge after they married and posted photos of themselves with wedding rings on social media. While Kulik was 6 years younger than Gordeeva, Pelletier was only 3.